Modern tools and changing needs, all this makes the automotive industry evolve. And lately, it has been happening unexpectedly fast. Can manufacturers and dealers keep up with the process? What solutions can increase their chances? And what can user expect? These are the topics of our discussion with Tomasz Bogacki, Automotive Solution Manager, Hicron.
Hi.
My name is Hanka Dziubińska-Kopka, and this is HiTalks. I prepared this quote. The dealer network has also been transformed. Currently, its main task is after-sales service, and in the vehicle sales chain itself, the role of the dealer is limited to the point of vehicle collection by the customer. This is how Remigiusz Szefinowicz, managing partner Hicron, described the effects of one of our implementations. Tell me more about these solutions with changing the role of the dealer.
Yeah, so basically what we are witnessing right now is the evolving role of the dealer in the whole sales network. The dealers, the importers, they call it the agency model. So the dealer is becoming an intermediary between the sales, so between the customer and the manufacturer or the importer in that case. So basically the dealers start working kind of like real estate agents. They work on commission, but the prices are dictated by the manufacturers or by the importers in that case, which gives the automotive industry competitive advantages because they can create their pricing strategies and stick to their exact price of the vehicles. Which means that there will be no negotiations between different dealerships of the same brand. So the dealers can focus on attracting the customers from outside of their network. So we call it the conquest when the customer is switching brands, because still the dealers will still be the point of contact with the customer. So it's up to the dealer to maintain the customer service levels, to create a great experience for the customer, to do all the stuff that will attract the customer to that particular brand. Of course, it will be a big change in the process. It will be a big change for the dealers, but they have to adapt to it, and probably the faster they adapt to it, not kind of trying to avoid it, the better for them. And we at Hicron, we have solutions for both the dealer groups and the importers, as well as the manufacturers. We can accommodate all of those groups' needs. We work with the German SAP, the biggest ERP system supplier in the world. We are their integrator and we cooperate since 2018. This is where we can do miracles in the automotive industry using, for example, the VMS. And lately we have been working on a project to create the business to customer sales directly online for the electric vehicles of one of the leading manufacturers for the regional European headquarters. They decided that all electric vehicles will be sold only via the online channels. And this is where we come in to prepare those platforms, to integrate them with the existing systems for invoicing, controlling sales orders, sales distribution, etc. We work together with Salesforce on that particular project to create a value-added program for the customers that will be able to buy the car without leaving their homes.
And what is the VMS solution?
So it's a vehicle management system. Basically, it's a part of SAP that revolves around a single object that is the vehicle itself. So the vehicle has a VIN number, so vehicle identification number, and this is a unique identifier of that particular vehicle, and with that object we can do in the system everything around it. So we can create a sales order for that vehicle, we can create a shipping order for that vehicle, also the financial documents that are connected to that vehicle. This is all around it, and that gives us endless possibilities to create new software. We at Hicron, we have also developed many, we call them accelerators. So this is custom-made software, for example, yard management, where we can have real-time information in using a Fiori tiles, for example, where we can see where or how many cars are in a particular yard. Is the yard full? Because we know the capacity, we know what cars are coming in, we know what cars are coming out. So the logistics department of a certain importer can have direct access to that system and control it real time. This is, of course, one of the examples of countless possibilities that VMS offers. And this project that I've mentioned is basically based on VMS, but will do much more than the standard VMS solution.
We were talking about the changing role of the dealer and e-commerce boom. What has led to such dynamic changes in the automotive industry?
Yeah, we do observe quite fast, rapid changes in the automotive industry. There are several reasons. The first one is the pandemic. The pandemic changed our lives as we knew it before, and it also relates to the automotive industry. So various lockdowns caused the automotive industry to halt, to stop production, stop sales. But of course, the companies had to recover quickly. So they implemented, some of them were already in the process of implementing e-commerce solutions. Some of them were not. But all of them had to either accelerate it or started to deliver the solution to be for the customers to be able to buy cars without leaving their homes. So first kind of temporary solution was to create a virtual connection between the dealer and the customer so that they can talk without visiting each other, but it had to include vision, because usually the customer in the showroom would like to see the car, open the doors, smell the car. Yeah, I think they didn't manage to transfer smell through the internet yet, but maybe it's to come. So this was one of the driver of changes. The other one is the lawmakers and the legislation that is being voted and introduced to life. By 2035, there will be no petrol engine or diesel engine, so internal combustion engine cars sold in the European Union. So all of the cars after 2035, I'm talking about new car sales, they will have to be electric or hydrogen powered. So this is a big change, and it also caused the auto manufacturers to change their production lines, to change their models, and it's quite a big step forward, because it will deliver cars that are cleaner, it will deliver cars that are without emissions, they are quieter or quiet or silent. Actually, the European Union forces the automakers to install a certain sound-making devices in those cars because they are completely silent, and to protect the pedestrians or to inform the pedestrians that the car is coming. There has to be some kind of let's call it sound-emitting device, but it's of course far better than the sound of an internal combustion engine. So yeah, that's the two biggest reasons for the changes.
When we are talking about e-commerce, we have to say about cloud computing. What is happening technologically in this industry?
So cloud computing basically allows us to manipulate a lot of data and to get access to them real time. Cloud computing is one of the aspects of this technological leap forward, together with the computing or the calculation power of our computers, together with the speed of the transfer of data. This all allows us as IT companies and also automotive companies to create systems or create architecture that will communicate rapidly between themselves, and we can integrate a lot of peripheral devices such as free speech recognition devices with Internet of Things, with the cloud computing itself, in order to process the data and have an outcome that will be of benefit to the driver, to the passengers, to the owners of the vehicles. So this is basically a big step forward. And here, Hicron as an SAP partner, we deliver the technology for the big companies, but we also have a whole division of our internal software house, and we employ people, experts who program in various programming languages. We do our own applications, we do our own coding and software, and then we of course integrate it with SAP. So we have this kind of comprehensive approach towards the possibilities of the market, and whatever the customer, in this case the automotive companies, the importers, the dealership groups, whatever they would like to implement, we are ready to deliver.
Completely new services are also emerging. We heard about BMW's heated seat subscription, but it's not the only one. Can you tell us about new opportunities?
Yeah, with what we discussed about the changing complexity of the car in terms of switch to electric vehicles, the cars have much less parts that need maintenance. The cars have much less parts that need replacement. So we can expect the revenue streams for the automotive manufacturers and importers to reduce or to change, probably reduce. That's why they need to come up with new ideas. Hence the BMW's heated seat subscription. I think that nobody is in shock that we have Netflix. So we are used to having Netflix, we are used to having Spotify. Everyone, okay, not everyone, but many people are subscribers of those channels. We pay a monthly fee. We have an ever evolving or new additions to the services that we have in this monthly installment. Most of us probably even have a standing order and don't even have to do the bank transfer because it happens automatically, which is very convenient. And the same enters the automotive industry right now, as BMW demonstrated. It's cheaper for the automotive manufacturer to install the heating or the heated seats in every car and sell a subscription plan for those customers that would like to use it, because this means simplifying production lines, which means cutting the costs of production. And then I would also probably think that marketing side would say, okay, give them 1 month free subscription for the heated steering wheel, and then ask the customer, so dear customer, would you like to keep the heated steering wheel? And I can assure you that driving in winter with a heated steering wheel for a month and then having to drop this feature, you will definitely pay these, I don't know, 5-10 euro per month or whatever the payment will be. But I do expect it to be not a significant amount of money to have this kind of piece of luxury. So this is one of them. There are others that go even further. So for example, car manufacturers that develop in-car payment systems. You don't need to have your phone, you don't need to have your Apple Watch, you don't need to have your credit card. You just tap the button inside the car, and you can pay for software services, or you can pay for example, fuel. So when the car is running out of fuel, it tells you I will find you a refueling station, and you can just use the pump there and get back in the car because I will take care of the payment process. So this is something new, another new option, another new feature. And those are endless. We could talk for hours. But another interesting one is the video conferencing tool that will be installed in new Mercedes vehicles. They integrated the hardware into the infotainment system. So there is a webcam built in the car and an agreement signed with an outside software provider for video conferencing that allows you to do the online video conferencing from within the vehicle. Of course, as a safety feature, the car needs to be stopped, parked safely. But anyway, it allows for a greater flexibility in your daily schedule. You don't have to sit in the office, wait for this call that will happen in 1 hour. You can already start your journey back home or to another meeting and just park on the way, have the video conference and continue your journey.
What other new services are we going to hear more and more about? Like electrical cars or? Yeah,
so here I think that electric vehicles are already becoming, also depending on where it's happening, but there are more and more electric vehicles on the streets, and they kind of are a revolution in itself, but to go back a little bit, there was another revolution in the automotive industry happening a few years back, where when Uber and Bolt or Lyft were created, it completely changed the landscape of passenger travel in terms of taxi rides. So now it's more accessible, and all it needed was an app. To be honest, it was purely from the IT perspective, because there was an app created for the driver and there was an app created for the customer, so for the passenger, which allowed them to communicate with each other. So this, again, we go back to transferring a lot of data in real time, to use the GPS signal from the car, to use the GPS signal from the passenger, to calculate the route from point A to point B and show the passenger when the car will arrive. It's an amazing technology, and also the payment is kind of automatic. If you're having a bad day, you don't want to talk to the driver, you just get in, get out. They know where to drive you without a word. So that's kind of amazing. And another revolution probably will happen with autonomous vehicles, which are already under development as we speak, and quite advanced. That in terms of technology, they already are there. So there are pilot programs in California, for example, where the cars are allowed to drive without the driver during the hours of night and in special selected zones of the cities as a trial. And it's proving itself working, viable. Right now, the biggest challenge here is the law, because if in an unlikely event of a collision that would be caused by an autonomously driving vehicle, the law requires to put somebody at blame, let's put it bluntly. And right now we can't deal with it. So who's to blame? The driver, who's actually not the driver because he's the passenger, because the driver doesn't exist because the car drives itself. So should we sue the car manufacturer? It's kind of difficult here, but I'm sure we're gonna solve it sooner or later, because this idea of let's say you are driving yourself to your workplace, but you don't have to park 5 blocks away because this is the nearest parking spot. You park in front of the entrance, and then you press the button in your app and tell the car, please drive yourself to a nearest parking spot, wherever that is. So the car is gonna find it. And then you finish work and you summon the car drives out of the parking spot and picks you up at the front door, which is very convenient. And then you can drive it yourself, or you can also relax inside and push another button and the car will drive you home. So this is a kind of sci-fi future, but it's very attractive, and I think that we will find as human beings a way to make it happen.
Let's talk about another attractive thing. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. ChatGPT spoke to our imaginations. And how will AI impact the automotive?
That's a great question. Probably a lot of people are wondering or asking themselves this exact question. The only sure thing is that the automakers are not asking themselves whether they are able to use it. They are asking themselves how extensively they are going to use it. One use case that I could think of is probably the design process of a new generation of a car model. So right now there is a whole big group of designers, engineers, constructors, and then accountants also who are involved in the process of creating a new generation vehicle. So what it's going to look like, the shape, the size, the colors, the interior, everything. But I think that it will come down to good statement of work for the AI, which could probably sound something like, please create a new generation ABC car of an XYZ brand that will follow the latest trends, that will follow the latest statistic numbers of size vehicles and in terms of practicality, that will be also optimized in terms of sourcing of parts, in terms of cost of manufacture. And this software will basically produce a ready 3D model of a vehicle. And probably at the beginning, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, okay, let's put it into production. It's not going to work like that. But it can be something to start the work with for this group that I mentioned before. But already skipping a year of conceptual work and trying to find the best looking car, this will be a leap ahead. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, automotive, it looks like the mix of the solid solutions for the industry and ideas from sci-fi movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and how it is in our backyard. What are we prepared for at Hicron, and what can we prepare others for?
Yeah, it is really exciting. This is a rapidly changing environment, and as we discussed earlier on, there were some factors that sped up these changes. And we at Hicron, so from one perspective, we have a very solid partner that is the SAP. They've been around for more than 50 years on the market, and as we discussed already, majority of the biggest companies in the world, they run SAP. So this is kind of the solid base for us to stand on. But we also have our software house, which is the group of people at Hicron that are dedicated to finding new solutions, to doing something completely from scratch, or that they also integrate with SAP solutions, but to make them faster, to make them look more sexy because of the interface, because of the needs of the customer. And by customer, I don't only mean the automotive manufacturer, but also their clients, because sometimes this is software developed directly for the client. So it needs to be fast, it needs to be responsive, it needs to be intuitive. And all of that we can do at Hicron. We work in various models. We can do team extensions with the customer if their project is big and their resources are not enough to deliver by themselves. We can do a hybrid model where we are the external consultant on a project, or we can do everything completely by ourselves. whereas the whole execution of the project lies on our shoulders, and we deliver with good quality and on time.
It looks like we are ready for changing world and changing automotive industry. Thank you, Tomek, for our discussion, and see you in the next episode, HiTalks.